We continue to follow breaking news this morning on Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 5:27, and as normally in these chaotic scenes, we are getting ready to take a press conference involving Metro Police as they give us more information involving the officer killed in the line of duty this morning. We're just waiting to set up to hear that information.
You can see a group of men right now walking toward the camera. We are assuming right now, it's hard to tell in the dark, but that is the top brass of the police department, the folks that we have been waiting for quite some time to hear from.
And Beth, not to interrupt you, but you're hearing there on the screen, this is Spencer Moore. His son, David Moore, was the last officer that was killed in the line of duty back in 2011. Truly has been an advocate for, obviously, officer safety and getting the word out about how we should all support our officers. Let's see if we can listen in this morning as he speaks to the press.
The officers' family, and we'll show their support, and we'll be there for them during this tough time because the next few days are going to be horrendous for them.
Can you take us through your morning when you got the call and what followed since?
Well, I was at home, got the call about 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. Actually, a little bit past that because they were shot.
Chief, hi.
Sure, I'll talk to you.
Let's just do them all
one time.
Hey,
hold on 1 second. Okay.
You ready? Tell just by looking at Chief Hyde.
Okay, tonight at around 1:52 a.m., Northwest District Officer Rod Radway was dispatched to the 6700 block of Eagle Point Drive after a 911 call reported a disturbance in an apartment. When he arrived to the apartment door, he heard a woman scream for help inside the apartment. He forced entry into the apartment, and a confrontation ensued between the suspect and police officers. During that confrontation, the officer was shot. He was transported to Wishart Hospital, where he died from his injuries. During the confrontation, the suspect was also shot and killed. We are still working to confirm his identity, and the investigation is still very young, and any further details we'll have later. Chief Hite has some words, as well as Director Riggs. Thank you.
Good morning. As you heard, a very brave officer risked his life for our community once again. Our heartfelt condolences goes out to his family, to the police family, and to the citizens of this great city. We're grateful. He's a brave, decorated officer. Very proud. I had a chance to talk to his parents. We talked about how he was so enthralled to wear the uniform, how it made him feel bigger than life, how he loved to come to work and do his job. As you heard, he entered an apartment to save the life of a woman who was being assaulted, and in turn gave his life. Blessed are the peacemakers in our community who wear the blue. And thank God for people like Rod and members of this police department. It's very tough. It's a tough time for us, but we'll get through this. In the days ahead, we want the community to understand. We want you to reach out to the family, be there for them as we prepare for his homegoing services. This time, Director Riggs would like to share a few words. Director.
I just want to say tonight, IMPD lost one of its finest, but this city lost one of its finest. I'm always struck when you see the officers and they wear a uniform. They wear that uniform with pride, but that uniform also represents what's good about our community. That our uniform represents the citizens we serve. Not only tonight did an officer die, but it was an attack against what is right in our city. The officers I've spoken with tonight asked for prayer. They asked for respect for their privacy. And I, for one, am proud to be a part of this organization and proud of the service and the sacrifice of our officer. This time I'm going to ask President Bill Owensby of the FOP for a few words.
Folks, earlier tonight, Rod Bradway put his uniform on and went to work. He's not coming home. He left behind a wife and 2 kids. And he's a true hero. So the department would really appreciate prayers and support. It's something, unfortunately, that this city does very, very well in supporting our officers in times of need. And this is one of the greatest times of need. So I'd appreciate any prayers and thoughts and support for the family and for the men and women that worked with him and the entire police department. Thank you.
This time you hear from Commander of the Northwest District, Rod's Commander, Brian Mahone.
Tonight I lost a member of my team. We lost a member of our family. When I say we, I mean the Northwest District, IMPD, the Public Safety Department, and the City of Indianapolis. We're going to ask our family for all the support. And I say the family, I mean the city, the county, everybody. We are a community, and we've lost a key member. We've lost a guardian. I talked to the officers earlier. We're weaker tonight. We've lost one of our protectors. He logged in every night, late shift while the rest of us were sleeping, myself included, protected the streets, kept us notified, and kept us safe. Tonight we are weaker. We're asking for your help, your support as a community, as a city. Keep us in your prayers, the entire police family, public safety, and the city of Indianapolis.
Brian, can you tell us a little bit about Officer Bradway? Bill mentioned he has 2 children.
2 children, his wife, his brother, his mom and dad are here. Strong law enforcement family. His brother said he was doing what he always wanted to do. There will be a lot said about him, and nothing will even come close to the kind of police officer he is. The kind of police officer who goes out in the middle of the night and makes sure that the rest of us are taken care of. Patrols our alleys, our streets, our driveways, and he was answering a call. Someone was in assistance, and he showed up, gave his life. Again, we've lost a guardian. Outstanding officer, and tonight we are weaker.
Officer Bradway, we were doing some looking around online. We also saw that he was one of the main proponents of getting tornado relief to other parts of the country after Oklahoma happened. Can you speak to what that act says about him, what tonight's act of bravery says about the type of person he was and what efforts he made around the whole country, really?
I tell you, you'll be amazed at the acts the officers do every day and every night. He stood out. He was one of our officers of the month for just recently, helping us on a case that actually saved someone's life. And tonight, he saved someone's life. Undoubtedly, he saved someone's life. There'll be more of that in the coming days as there is an ongoing investigation. But tonight, we just ask for your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll come back with updates here momentarily.
We're just wrapping up here a news conference. You've just seen the chief of police, the public safety director of the city, FOP members, Rod Bradway's supervisor there at the Northwest District, all speak. Many of these men holding back tears. It's hard to watch, and it's hard to understand how they're wrapping their hearts around what's just happened.
And as you heard this evening from Brian Mahone, his commander, per se, who said, tonight we are weaker because we lost one of our protectors. And we're finding out already so much more about Officer Bradway. He did leave behind a wife and 2 children. We're also now getting more details about what happened early this morning. Officer Bradway responding to a 911 call at the Eagle Point Apartments, responding to a domestic disturbance, and died in the line of duty. We'll have much more on this breaking news story as it develops throughout the morning. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
And good morning, I'm meteorologist Todd Clausen. We are dealing with increasing clouds this morning here across central Indiana, and you notice off to our west we have some showers and a little bit of lightning getting picked up near Champaign, Illinois. Throughout the morning, the clouds will continue to thicken. Can't rule out the chance of just an isolated shower across northern portions of the central Indiana area, but for the most part I think we do remain dry. It's not until probably the noon hour and beyond that we start to get into some pretty good rainfall. You notice the line of showers and storm stretches all the way from Chicago back towards Dallas, and there's quite a bit of moisture there in Texas. This is all going to stream to the north right along that cold front as it pushes across the state. So it's going to get very wet here later on this afternoon and evening. We're looking at rainfall totals generally anywhere between a half an inch and 1 inch of rain by the time things end on Saturday morning. Temperatures pretty uniform with the cloud cover moving in. 74 right now in Lafayette, 72 in Indianapolis as well as Muncie throughout the day today. Again, it's dry this morning, so if you have anything outdoors you want to do it here in the next couple hours as we get to the noon hour and beyond. We bring in the rain. A few thunderstorms are possible, although we are not expecting much in the way of severe weather. Our high temperature today tops off at 79. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll have plenty more coming up in just a few minutes.
right now I've got Chief Hite with me here. Chief, tell me about Officer Bradway. He was he served the community for quite some time.
Well, we use the term hero kind of loosely. He represents that word. He had this air about him that the commander talked about, his parents talked about, a confidence. He was a highly decorated officer. He had received a Medal of Bravery in the past. He came to work. He never took a day off in terms of being here for the community. He never took a play off. He was always in the game, making sure our city was safe. We lost a hero. We're trying to replace our heroes, and we can't. He's one of those kind of people that will be remembered forever and a day. And then coming to the rescue of one of our citizens who was in need is what he did. We'd like to go back home to our family. We like to think that at the end of the day, we've done a great job and maybe go back the way we came. But tonight, this morning, it shows how dangerous this work really is and how important it is the work the IMPD does.
And this morning, he was responding to a domestic disturbance. No doubt he died saving someone's life, right?
Absolutely. He heard voices. He heard screams. He did what we're taught to do. He did what God ordained him to do. Kicked in the door, went inside, and tried to rescue a citizen in distress. As a result, shots were fired. He was wounded. The suspect was wounded. He was fatally wounded. And here we are this morning preparing to escort him to the morgue and then in preparation for days to come, his ongoing service.
And that's what this is, a processional happening right behind you here.
Yes. Members of his team, members of the police department, various districts, his shift, etc.
And are these relatives and family behind us here?
Some are relatives, some are friends, some are people who lost members of the police family. We're all one family this morning.
And this is something that's not going to rattle just this community, but rattle the nation, and a number of law enforcement communities around the nation.
Well, we are one big family, and when it happens to one of us, it happens to all of us in blue and brown, but also it happens to the community. We lost a soldier who won't be able to go out and strap on a weapon, go out and save a community that really is in need of police as we speak.
Chief Hite, sorry for your loss, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for being here. It means so much to us. God bless you.
Thank you. All right, Officer Bradway leaving behind 2 children and a wife right now. The processional is taking place. They are transporting his body to the morgue. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and bring you updates throughout GMI.
As that processional gets underway, you can see some live pictures outside of Wishart Hospital. A processional to honor the Officer Rod Bradway, who died this morning in the line of duty. As you heard from the chief, he had won an award. He was a hero for the department. And Beth, we also heard this morning from Public Safety Director Troy Riggs as that processional is now underway there outside of Wishart near the downtown area. Troy Riggs saying that what happened this morning was an attack against what is right in our city. The chief then went on to say, "Blessed are the peacemakers." As you can see, a somber moment outside of Wishart Hospital as the police family, friends, and relatives just gather for a moment to pause at the loss of a life that left behind a wife and 2 children. And that is, as we begin to hear more about the officer, those are the sort of the storylines that will emerge and really will touch the heart of so many in our community because, as the chief mentioned, a hero was lost this morning in Indianapolis.
Yeah, they were careful not to say too much about his personality, other than his work in the department. And I think they know, because in the coming days, we will learn so much about Rod, so much about him that we would have never known before.
And it will touch so many lives, and there'll be a ripple effect, as he pointed out, not only here in Indianapolis, but we will then see in the next couple of days when a funeral is planned. Officers come from around the nation to pay their respects to this fine officer, a story that we'll continue to follow this morning. Our Ann Kelly is live in the newsroom with much more on what really is a tough job for officers who put on that uniform every day. Ann Kelly, live in the newsroom. Ann?
Yeah, you know, they wear bulletproof vests. They carry their own weapons, but they can only protect themselves so well. Now, I've been running over the statistics of how often this happens, and it's really alarming how many law enforcement officers die like Bradway just passed. Now, some of my findings, in the last 10 years, more than 1,500 officers have died in the line of duty, and about a third of those officers had been shot. Last year, 120 officers died, and again, shootings being the leading factor there, with car crashes a close second. Now here in Indiana, more than 400 law enforcement officers have been killed, and again, guns playing a huge role here, with more than half of those officers killed by a bullet. And now, of course, this morning's turn of events really putting things into perspective. Most of us go to work each day. We worry about deadlines and paperwork. But for people working in law enforcement, it's a completely different story. They put their lives on the line, and unfortunately, in cases like this morning's, they're taken. Reporting live in the newsroom, Ann Kelly, RTV6.
And that's good perspective for all of us. Now, we will continue to stay on top of this story throughout Good Morning Indiana. You can also get breaking news by downloading our RTV6 app.
We'll now take a live picture as we continue to follow this breaking news. The processional now underway. This processional in honor of Officer Rod Bradway, who died this morning in the line of duty. He was, after being shot and killed, brought to Wishart Hospital, where we just moments ago heard from the top brass. We heard from the police chief. We also heard from the public safety director, Rick Height, calling Officer Bradway a valiant officer, brave, decorated officer.
The chief of police saying this morning, quote, "Blessed are the peacemakers," and you can see that on your screen, just how important a job they do for us here in Indianapolis, both city and county workers. So we thank them for all they do, and our prayers and thoughts are with them this morning.
Yeah, we also saw Lieutenant Chris Bailey, the spokesperson for Metro Police, when he began his remarks, just tears in his eyes, and that really represents what's going to happen today for the police family, not only in Indianapolis and central Indiana, but across the country, as tears will be shed in memory of the officer. The processional now underway, again, to honor a brave officer who left behind a wife and 2 children, and this morning was doing the job that he loved, protecting people. He responded to a domestic disturbance on the city's northwest side, a woman screaming. He entered the apartment at the Eagle Point Apartments. He was shot, the suspect was shot, and this morning, a somber day in Indianapolis.
Much more to come here on Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us. We're going to break right now. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Well, here's a live look right now at this breaking news story we've been covering all morning long. This is the Eagle Point Apartments near 465. This is where an IMPD officer was shot and killed earlier this morning. He was responding to a domestic disturbance, a woman screaming inside an apartment. He broke in to try to save her, and the person she was fighting with, screaming about, is the one who shot him. That person is also dead this morning.
That officer is Officer Rod Bradway, described as a valiant, highly decorated officer with Metro Police, leaving behind a wife and 2 kids. The public safety director saying that what happened tonight, what happened this morning, was an attack against all that is right in our city. It's a story that we will continue to follow. A processional is now underway in the around the Wishart Hospital area, near the downtown area. We'll continue to follow that story. Now let's check in with your forecast.
Yeah, it's good morning to you. We're going to start you this morning. We're talking about your morning commute. Yesterday morning, you were dealing with showers and storms and quite a bit of lightning on your morning commute. This morning, just dealing with cloud cover. Temperatures holding steady near 70 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies out there for you. I think we'll get in on those showers after the 1 p.m. hour. We are going to watch a cold front work its way through our area, bringing showers and storms to us. You're at 72 for Indianapolis, 73 for Evansville. If you take a look at what's happening to the west of us, that cold front that's sitting there already starting to cool things down. Minneapolis only at 60 degrees, 61 for Des Moines. So as it works its way in, ahead of the front, you're dealing with showers and storms. Behind the front, much cooler air. So we'll hold steady here in the 70s throughout the morning. I think we hit our high temperature fairly early before those storms begin to move in. All right, so quiet for now. But once again, as you expand out, you see this large line of storms that's stretching all the way down into Texas. Some of these showers will continue to funnel into our area, bringing heavy rain at times. Yesterday, over 1.5 inches of the rain. I think we're going to add quite a bit to our totals once again for today. We're going to take you through it with TrueCast here. Spotty showers into the noon hour. After 4 p.m., these showers become more numerous. Some of these storms, it's possible to see severe weather with them. This storm will begin to move out of the area by midnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, you start off cloudy, seeing a few clouds out there, and by afternoon, sunshine. So today, 79 degrees. Those showers and storms in the forecast tonight only at 60 degrees. The weekend looks fantastic with temperatures holding steady in the 70s. Plenty of sunshine on your Sunday as fall begins. Your 7-day planning forecast, temperatures will hold steady in the 70s throughout the week. By next week, midweek, we warm to the 80s. So we haven't said goodbye to the 80-degree temperatures today. Prepare for showers and storms throughout your evening commute.
I'm Lauren Casey with your Traffic Now update. Before you head out the door today, I want to look at some drive times on the south side. Take a look. It's only a 6-minute drive on State Road 37 from County Line Road to I-465. And on US 31, it's an 18-minute commute from Stop 11 to the Circle City. Over to I-65, it's a 7-minute commute from Southport Road to the South Split. Also, we have some news from the scene. That procession for the fallen officer just left Wishart Hospital. They are heading east on 10th Street at this time, so be on the lookout for that. Here's a live look now from our INDOT traffic camera at I-70 and Sherman Drive. No delays there.
Thank you, Lauren. We take you live outside right now to Wishart Hospital. This is where folks have gathered. We're hearing this is friends and family, and also some folks of former fallen officers. This, of course, is a family now. They're all bonded together because of this tragic incident.
They are all family. They are now remembering the legacy of Officer Rod Bradway, a father of 2 who left behind a wife as well. Our continuing coverage continues right after this.
Now, breaking news from RTV6.
He entered an apartment to save the life of a woman who was being assaulted, and in turn gave his life.
We are continuing to follow breaking news this morning.
Metro Police Officer Rod Bradway is dead. He was shot while responding to a call. You first heard about this as breaking news from an RTV6 push alert.
Now we'll show you a map. This happened to the Eagle Point Apartments on the city's northwest side. That's near 46th and Lafayette Road. And we've just learned here within the last half hour from the chief of police you just saw on your screen that Officer Bradway was shot at as he responded to a woman screaming inside an apartment. The suspect inside that apartment is dead as well.
We have live team coverage this morning, beginning with Jade Heidman, who is live outside of Wishart Hospital and has the very latest. Jade.
Here live at Wishart Hospital, where the mood is somber. Standing next to me is Spencer Moore, who lost his son in the line of duty back in 2011. His son, David. Tell me, this is something that is just devastating no matter when it happens.
Yes, it is. Tonight we lost a guardian of the city, and we now must rally together, make the city better than what it was. We're a little less, or really, truthfully, we're probably a whole lot less this moment because of our loss of Rod. But the department is strong. It will rally behind this issue. It will support his family. And let me tell you, I can speak with personal experience. The support the department gives you during this time is invaluable, but also the support from the community. The city was so strong and so much for my wife and the rest of David's family when that happened, that it was it made the difference for us, and I'm sure they will once again make the difference for his family.
Now, today, Rod was responding to a domestic disturbance, and David, a traffic stop. This reinforces just how dangerous the job is.
Well, there are two things that we know in law enforcement. As most people know, I spent 42 years as a police officer, and the two runs that are probably the most dangerous are the traffic stop and domestic. And here, coincidentally, both of these young officers were taken during their duty during those type of events.
And as the city works to put more officers on the streets, does this reinforce the importance of that to you?
I think it will heighten the awareness that the need for a proper number of police officers out there is important, and I think the administration and the department itself, the members of the FOP, are all working toward that in one group, and I think this may bring that message home just a little stronger to the public and some of the administration, that there is a need for additional officers out there, and maybe we can gut it out and work it a little harder and get what we need out there to help these guardians.
All right, Mr. Moore, anything else you'd like to say or add this morning?
Well, I'm just asking the city to do exactly what it did for us, be perfect. They were when David died. I think they can do it this time.
Thank you very much, and sorry for your loss. Thank you. Again, out here this morning, another hero gone at Wishart Hospital. Died during a domestic dispute this morning, shot and killed fatally. Of course, we'll keep you updated on this and bring you the latest. Live this morning, Jade Heindman, RTV6.
We continue our team coverage now. Skycam 6 now above. As you can see, this is the procession that left the Wishart Hospital. Also on the scene just moments ago, we did catch a glimpse of Deputy Mayor Oljan Williams, Deputy Mayor of Neighborhoods, who's also on the scene there at Wishart Hospital. As you can see, live pictures of the processional that left Wishart moments ago in honor of the officer who died this morning in the line of duty at the Northwest Point, at the Eagle Point Apartments on the city's northwest side. The officer has a wife and 2 children.
Rafi, we just saw them leave the hospital and they are now at the coroner's office. And what they did was process with his body and drop it off, protect it all the way to the coroner's office. And that, of course, is what you're seeing on your screen right now from Skycam 6. Certainly a somber moment for all of those involved, but a very important moment for officers to be able to honor their colleague.
And while we have this somber moment, Beth, we also have to understand that parallel to this is now an investigation. We do know that the officer was responding to a domestic call there at 46 in Lafayette at the Eagle Point Apartments. And now the investigation is going on as to who the person who shot him is. Who is this person and what is his record? And what really led to what happened this morning is now also underway.
Well, we continue our team coverage now. We want to head out to the scene. Like Raphael has said, this also is sparring an investigation. That officer called to the 6700 block of Eagle Point Drive North to an apartment complex there because of a disturbance. Katie Hines is there. And Katie, I know we heard from the chief of police that he heard a woman screaming inside, and that's what led him to break in and then, of course, to the shooting. Katie?
Beth, this is where that domestic disturbance turned deadly, and we can show you there are still a few officers on scene looking through evidence, picking up the pieces, trying to comb through clues and determine exactly what happened here a few hours ago. They tell us that shots were fired and Bradway was hit, and dozens of officers from many different parts of the city raced to the scene this morning sometime around 2 o'clock a.m. after learning one of their own had been shot. This morning, they're asking for your prayers and your patience.
We also ask that anybody on the northwest side, minus an emergency, be patient for non-emergency calls. We promise we will respond, but it just may take us a little bit longer tonight. Emergency calls will be dealt with in the regular fashion.
Yeah. The suspect is also dead this morning, and police confirm they are not looking for anyone else. They continue to investigate. They tell us their incident response team is out here looking through all of the evidence at this point, and they do tell us that the push team will be helping fellow officers who are dealing with the grief now in the department. For now, we're live on the northwest side. Katie Hines, RTV6.
A somber day not only in Indianapolis but throughout the country. When that funeral is planned and those events are put together, we will see police from all over the country come to Indianapolis. Since news broke first about this fatal shooting, hundreds of people have taken to the internet, tweeting their condolences, even changing their profile photos on Facebook. Our TV6 reporter Ann Kelly is live in our newsroom with that part of our team coverage. Ann?
Yeah, good morning, Raphael. You know, here in the RTV6 newsroom, we've been following social media closely. And yes, in the last hour, we have seen that photos have been changed. IMPD and city employees have been changing their Facebook photos, putting a badge up with a black bar over it instead. Now, on Twitter, IMPD asking the public to please pray for our officer, the family, our police department. And in response, dozens of people have said back that they will, that they are. And as you can see on your screen, so many people are waking up, hearing what happened, and want to express their condolences as well. Even the Wayne Township Fire Department, which has tweeted saying that enough is enough. Now, I've also seen everyone from a Vietnam vet to a past IMPD intern tweet that their hearts are heavy. Really a sad morning today, and it's online. It's evident as despite the early hour, plenty of people are up. They're waking up, hearing about this tragic crash, and they want to talk about it. Reporting live this morning, Ann Kelly, RTV6.
And thank you. We will continue to stay on top of this story throughout Good Morning Indiana. You can also get breaking news alerts as you did this morning when the story broke by downloading the RTV6 app.
Temperatures this morning are in the 60s and 70s across the area. We're at 68 right now in Fortville. 70 is the current temperature from Lawrence up to Fishers and Brownsburg. You're currently at 69 degrees. Skies are partly cloudy right now, but the clouds will start to fill in here quickly throughout the course of the morning. 71 in Flora and 70 right now in the Greencastle area. Off to our west across the state lines, you notice there are some showers and a few thunderstorms from Champaign over towards the Springfield area. And everything is sliding off towards the northeast. But notice the train of rain that goes all the way down down into Texas. That's where we're dealing with some rain in Dallas right now, and that's where we also find an area of low pressure. And all this is going to stream off towards the north and to the east, and that's going to make for a pretty wet afternoon and evening here across the area. So throughout the morning, the clouds increase. Can't rule out the chance of a sprinkle, but as we go into the afternoon hours, notice how the showers start to fill in, and then as we get into the evening hours, your evening commute, we're probably going to have a pretty steady rain that'll develop, especially to the east and southeast of the city. A few rumbles of thunder are possible, and maybe a stronger storm here or there, but we're not expecting a lot in the way of severe weather. And then the rain moves off to the east, and that's going to set us up for a pretty nice weekend. But for Friday football games here this evening, it is going to be pretty wet. Temperatures right now are in the 70s, but here's the cooler air that filters in behind the front. That arrives for the weekend. Temperature right now is at 71 degrees here in the city.
I'm Lauren Casey with your Traffic Now update, and I have a traffic alert for drivers heading through Monument Circle later today. The Columbia Club is hosting an Oktoberfest on the Circle tonight. This event is open to the public. However, drivers should be aware that beginning at 1 this afternoon, the north half of the Circle will be closed to traffic, and it will remain closed until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's a live look now from our NDOT traffic camera at I-70 and Ronald Reagan Parkway by the airport. Good news if you're trying to catch an early flight. The traffic is moving right along there.
The time now is 6:09. We continue to follow breaking news involving an officer shot but first and killed in the line of duty. But first, a Fisher's mother who triggered an Amber Alert was released from the Hamilton County Jail Thursday and went to live with her parents in Kentucky. Jennifer Ansari, shown here during an earlier court appearance in Kentucky, is free on a reduced bond of $15,000. She also must report to Indiana for pretrial supervision and submit to mental health assessment. She'll go on trial in December on charges of custodial interference. She took her 8-year-old daughter out of state during a custody battle with her ex-husband.
New this morning, Rafaela, Southside house is destroyed by flames. Firefighters were called to the 1900 block of South Union Street. Investigators say the home was abandoned, although neighbors say 2 squatters had been living there inside. They were not injured. The cause of the fire is now under investigation.
2 women wanted for questioning in a hit-and-run crash could face more serious charges once they're found. 59-year-old Michael Robertson died on Thursday, 2 days after being hit near 18th and Sheldon Street. Now, police say they found the car involved, but they're still looking for 2 people of interest. And those people, Felicia Moss and Nakia Akoff. Detectives believe the vehicle is registered to Moss, but Akoff was driving.
Standing here with me, I have the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, William Owensby, to tell me a little bit about Officer Bradway. He was a hero in uniform, as we all know, but even outside of the uniform too, right?
That's correct. He's been on the police department since 2008. He's 41 years old. Was married and had 2 children, at least one of them in high school, and he is very indicative of every other man and woman on the police department. He put his uniform on tonight, went to work, and unfortunately he is not going to be coming home. So he is a true hero in every sense of the word, and he was dedicated to this community, lived in this community, served this community, and unfortunately gave the ultimate sacrifice.
And this is something that you all, you often pray and hope never happens, especially in the law enforcement community. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, at the risk of sounding melodramatic, we do know that this is part of the job. You know when you put the uniform on and you go to work that you have no idea what's around the corner. You have no idea what is on that next run. You have no idea. Everything's a surprise, and so you deal with it as best you can. But when something like this happens, there is no amount of training, no amount of experience. Nothing really prepares you for the real life incident when it really happens. It takes your breath away.
You were in there with the family and other officers. Tell me what the mood is right now, and how is the family reacting?
Well, as you might imagine, I mean, his family's from northern Indiana, and they received an escort to come down here, and unfortunately it was too late. He was gone, but the mood is very somber, as you can imagine. All of his beat partners were in the room. All of his shift. The men and women that work on his shift were with him, and you form a very, very tight bond with people that you work with on a day in and day out basis. So they literally are like family. They're literally like brothers and sisters. So as you can imagine, it's a very, very somber mood.
And is there anything else you'd like to say this morning?
I know that the family would really appreciate the support that this community is well known for. I mean, unfortunately, we've had a few of these, and one thing this city does really well is support its heroes, and I'm sure that they would really appreciate prayers and support and thoughts going their way.
Absolutely. Mr. Winsby, thank you very much, and sorry for the loss. Thank you. All right. So as you hear there, officers and the whole community really looking for prayers and support. The family is looking for that from the community in their time of need. Officer Bradway fatally shot this morning. They're saying he was happy to put that uniform on, and a hero in uniform and out of uniform. Of course, we'll continue to bring you updates on this story as they unfold. Live this morning outside of Wishart Hospital, Jade Hindman, RTV6.
And Jay, what struck me earlier from the chief of police, he said when Officer Bradway put that uniform on, it made him feel bigger than life. And truly that gives you the brave nature you need to be able to do this job.
Yeah, Chief Hyde also went on to say that he was a valiant officer. He expressed his heartfelt condolences to his family, his wife, 2 children, his brother and mother and dad who came in to be with the body this morning. We also heard from Brian Mahone, the commander for Officer Bradway, who said, tonight we are weaker because we lost one of our protectors. You are seeing now live pictures from Skycam 6 on the city's south side. This is near the coroner's office, the Marion County Coroner's Office, where obviously there was a processional this morning from Wishart Hospital where the body was taken after the officer was shot. He was taken to Wishart, and the body was brought here.
This, of course, is a familiar scene to officers here at IMPD. They just lost an officer 2 years ago,
right,
David Moore.
That's right, in 2011.
So they've done this.
Yeah.
They've done this, and they've had the heartache, and unfortunately, they know how this goes now. So, of course, they'll follow the motions, but, of course, each of these is very special. We'll learn a lot about Rod Bradway here in the coming days.
And we also heard, as you were talking about, Officer David Moore, who died in January 2011 during a traffic stop. We heard from his dad, Spencer Moore, on Good Morning Indiana about 20 minutes ago, and he talked about that, one of the most dangerous parts of this job is answering 2 types of calls. One, the traffic stop, the other is domestic violence. And we now know that this morning, or domestic disturbance, and now we know that this morning that the officer was responding to the screams of a woman screaming for help. Officer Rod Bradway entered an apartment at the Eagle Point Apartments on the city's northwest side near 46th and Lafayette Road and was shot while trying to protect a mother. We also understand there may also have been a child involved. Child Protective Services was also called to that apartment. So this morning, a valiant officer who put everything on the line every day has died in the line of duty.
We'll stick with this story here after the break, but for now, you're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Time now is 6:20. We continue to follow breaking news. Officer Rod Bradway killed in the line of duty this morning. The Metro Police officer, a father of 2, also leaving a wife behind, killed while responding to a domestic disturbance.
Jade Hindman is live at Wishart Hospital this morning, where she's been all morning long. We know she's standing by right now with Lieutenant Chris Bailey. Jade, what do you have?
Here at Wishart Hospital, a number of officers, along with family and friends, have congregated. Here with me is Officer Chris Bailey. Chris, you've been through this before. You've told me you've lost a close friend and a fellow officer in the line of duty.
This is around the 6th time since I've been a police officer that we've lost somebody, whether it's in our department or another neighboring department. Classmate Bill Toney from Beech Grove, and then my partner and friend Jake Laird in 2004. So it never gets any easier, for sure.
And you were telling me that it's just almost like a scab ripped off every time this happens. It's really tough for you all.
It is, and you know what? It's sad for the community because the police officer, not the individual, but the officer represents law and civility in society. And when that's attacked, and when one of these officers falls doing this job, it's an attack on our republic and our way of government and life, and it's sad for the community.
And something that I keep hearing is that there is no routine traffic stop. There is is no routine call. Tell me about that.
Yeah, there's nothing routine in this job. I mean, we do these things, some of these things over and over again, but they're never routine because you just never know what's waiting on the other side of the door. You never know what's waiting in that car when you walk up. Even, examples across the country where officers are simply just sitting in their cars and attacked. So nothing's routine, and this officer saved a life tonight. He did so bravely, and the citizens of Indianapolis should be proud of him. We are, for sure.
And it speaks to what it is that you all do. You all take this oath to protect and serve the communities, and knowing full well that this is something that could happen. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we do this voluntarily. The officer tonight put his uniform on and went to work like he does every night, and he did the job well, and he saved a life. And it's tough for his family. We feel sorry for his family. More importantly than anything, our department's grieving right now, and the citizens with us.
Officer Bailey, is there anything else you'd like to say or add right now?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sorry for the loss. Thank you. As you're hearing out here this morning, Officer Bradway, a hero, but still it's very tough for the law enforcement community to find out of this loss. It's a scab that is removed almost each time you hear that a fellow law enforcement officer has died in the line of duty. Of course, we'll continue to bring you more information out here at Wishart Hospital. Live this morning, Jade Hindman, RTV6.
This morning we heard Lieutenant Chris Bailey initially talking about what had happened as we take this live picture from Skycam 6, and when we saw Chris Bailey come out and talk to the media, as you may recall, his eyes were swollen. You could see the tears in his eyes, and that's all he had to say.
It's certainly hard to watch, grown men really trying to absorb the gravity of the situation and the loss for their department and their family. Many of those men, Lieutenant Bailey included, came out with tears in their eyes, and I think it was just an honest moment. They're just sad.
Very sad, and I think everyone can at least make the connection that while these men and women put on the uniform every day to protect all of us, we all come to work or we all go to school, we hope to come home to our families. That's and tonight, right. Obviously, a family is grieving, a family with 2 kids and a wife, an extended family of police officers grieving this morning. You are watching Good Morning Indiana. The time now, 6:24. It is 71 degrees.
It basically fizzled away, but you look across the state line, there's plenty of shower activity from Champaign to Springfield right now. A few lightning strikes there as well, but no severe weather. The trend this morning will be to increase the cloud cover, and then the cold front that lies off to our west, and it stretches all the way from Michigan down into Texas. And look at all this moisture. It's all going to stream right along that cold front up to the north. And because it's a slow-moving cold front, we are going to be dealing with showers for quite some time once we get into the afternoon and evening hours. So if you have anything to do here outside, certainly do it this morning. Temperatures are mild. It's a little muggy as well. 71 here in the city. 72 is the current temperature in Muncie. So here's what you need to know to plan your day for your morning commute. It's a dry commute. Temperature right around 72 degrees. We're not going to move much. Starting at the lunch hour, the rain's going to start to move in from southwest to northeast. And then as we get into the evening commute, look for a steady rain to develop with a few thunderstorms as well. So your evening commute is certainly going to be a wet one. Bring the rain gear as you walk out the house this morning. Here's the timeline on TrueCast. Again, by the noon hour, just a few scattered showers starting to appear. But notice how the coverage of these showers increases by 4 o'clock. And as we get into the evening hours, especially to the south and east of Indianapolis, we are going to be dealing with some potentially heavy rainfall in spots. There could be a few thunderstorms as well. That could be on the strong to potentially severe side, although we're not expecting a lot of severe weather. Then as we go throughout the midnight hour into early Saturday morning, still some rain heavy on the eastern side of the state. But the further west you are, less in the way of rainfall really throughout the entire duration of this storm. So for Friday football frenzy here across central Indiana, certainly grab the rain gear. As far as games getting delayed, there could be a little bit of lightning, but again, we are not expecting a lot in the way of severe weather. As far as the rainfall potential and totals, everywhere you see in green here, that's generally about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Some locations to the south and east could be up over 1 inch of rain as we go into the day tomorrow. Here's the warm air in place. The cool air is back off to our west. This cold front will usher in that cool air for the weekend. And right on cue, fall officially arrives Sunday morning at 4:44 p.m. Temperatures today top off in the 70s to right around 80 degrees here in Indianapolis. And then take a look at your 7-day planning forecast. 71 on Saturday. Some morning clouds may linger Saturday, so when you wake up and it's a little gray, don't worry. The clouds quickly move out. Turns into a very nice day. Sunday, beautiful at 70 degrees with lots